All right, everybody. My next guest is a very funny writer, actor, and comedian who can be seen regularly on Gutfeld on the Fox News channel, as well as his show, The Loftus Party, which can be found on YouTube. Here he is, folks, the one and only Michael Loftus. Michael, how are you, sir?
I'm good, buddy. I'm very pleased to be on the show. I've already complimented you off camera on your awesome choice of backgrounds.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. That's an homage to a classic.
It's an homage to them, especially when I first chose the background was when we all went into lockdown in 2020 and everyone was podcasting from home. So I was like, I'll give an homage to the original like podcasters, the
Right?
OGs, and plus
the OGs.
And plus, the background is really cool. It's I got the shark, guitars. The only thing is the Chicago stuff, but whatever.
Right, gotta lose that. But something just occurred to me. Like OG, it could be either way. Like I'm one of the OGs. Like you're cool, or you're like ooh OGs.
Yeah, oh geez.
Oh geez.
That's a great. I've never thought of it that way.
Me neither. Now, it just the way we were saying it. It's like once upon a time. That's an Archie Bunker slam. Oh geez.
Oh geez. So now you can say it two different ways. If somebody,
Meathead.
Yeah.
Meathead
definitely
is one of the original. Oh geez.
This is true. This is true. Meathead has remained the meathead for the test of time. He's still to this day a meathead.
Yes, he is. What a boy. How does that? It must be terrifying to be that guy. You read his tweets, and it's just like he'd freak out Chicken Little, right?
True. True. He takes the talking points. I think the White House sends them directly to Meathead. Meathead then puts it through on his Twitter page.
Yeah, it's like a terrifying, like Stephen King reads that and was like, dude, like what is going on in that meathead mind of yours? Oh geez.
This guy, and everybody knows it, is always putting this country down. As far as he's concerned, nothing is right unless it's left.
Oh geez. So I was looking, you're a Ohio guy, which is really cool because not too long ago, I don't know if you know Mark Riccadonna, comedian. He's from Ohio, and we did a top five. Yeah, we do this thing, top five, greatest comedians from all these different cities. We were doing top five from Ohio. Yeah, that's an impressive bunch of. That's a funny state. A lot of funny people came out of Ohio.
I think you have to add Long Island to the Midwest, and I mean this in all of the best ways. There's a like Long Island, I would put in a flyover state,
Right,
now granted, we have access, we can get into the city, but we can leave the city, and it's like it's more pastoral. I moved out to Long Island a few years ago to write on a TV show. Didn't want to do it.
Right.
And it was for Kevin James. And I had never met him in all my years of stand-up and sitcoms. I'd never met him, never worked with him. And he's like, I want you to write on this show, but we're filming it on Long Island. And I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know if I can do that. And he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from Ohio. But I lived in California for like 20 years. He goes, you're from Ohio? You're going to love Long Island. And it's crazy. It has, like, don't tell him I said nothing. Long Island is cooler than Ohio. Like, by far. It's not even close. I will deny ever saying it. I will say that this is a deep fake. But it's like that same vibe. It's a common sense vibe. It's the same common sense vibe they have in Iowa and Nebraska, Ohio, Indiana. It's great. Like when I'm doing stand-up, I love just staying on the island. I just love it. What do I want to do? It's like when I was in LA, man, you'd have to drag me to like the Laugh Factory. Like I never wanted to be a regular at the Laugh Factory. I never wanted to be a regular at the Comedy Store. Just like, why? And every once in a while, you know, I was kind of a regular at the Melrose Improv, but even then it's just a bunch of like wannabe angry people, arms crossed. My uncle's in show business and he used to polish the Batmobile. Like, I don't give a fuck if you think I'm funny.
Yeah, they're definitely more jaded out there, and also the same with Manhattan, and with when you get people from all over the place, you know, versus kind of like homegrown, salt of the earth type people, which is like which Long Island is very similar to like Ohio because of that. I think we're more salt of the earth types, you know. And we have the farms out here too. If you go out east,
but like they're cooler, man. They're cool. There's something about here, and but it's California has it. There's something cool about a farm when you're done farming, you can go hit the beach.
We have that going for us,
right?
For sure.
Ohio doesn't have that. Ohio, you want to jump in the pond, which is fun.
You got like, Lake Erie over there.
Oh yeah. Well, my God, Put-in Bay, dude. If you want to really test the health of your liver, go to Put-in Bay. Everybody has those party. You guys have Montauk and some crazy shit, but yeah, you will not out party the people at Put-in Bay. But I want to get back to like it's like with LA and Manhattan, it's like it's what I really hate, fake artists. That there's very few things I despise more, and that's what it is. Somebody sitting there like, you know, well, I'm an actor, playwright, producer, and like, are you? Let me see your paycheck. Where was your last paycheck from? Right. Oh, dude, you work at Taco Bell. That's what you do.
Right. Yeah, and those are the same.
All this like fake, phony, just bullshit. I got no time for it. Life is short, guy.
True indeed. And that's what it is. I feel like even today with the culture, a lot of people are outraged because they feel like they're supposed to be, or that they can be like, oh, you've made fun of Lizzo. And meanwhile, they really don't care, but they feel the urge that they have to show that they care. And that's like a kind of fake to me as well, this fake outrage. That's nuts.
And then with social media, and that's why they're terrified about Elon Musk buying Twitter, is because somebody has to look under the hood and look at that algorithm. That's what I want to see. Every time these people from Google and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, every time they go to testify, they always go, well, we weren't censoring anybody. That's the algorithm. That's the algorithm. Well, bitch, somebody wrote the algorithm. How about you show it to us? That's all I'm interested in, because we know there's censorship. And then when you can take somebody with their fake outrage, and then somebody at Twitter is like, oh, that's very smart, they were intelligent, then they can just bump that up, turn that into the trending topic, and it's this giant game of make-believe, like, oh, this is what America's talking about. Lizzo wore a G-string on stage when she played a flute made out of Snickers bars. Like, no one cares that.
It's true. And you know what, too? I feel like more people are aware that we're being duped, but we're just allowing it to happen. It's a very strange thing. Like, nobody's like, I mean, there are people pushing back, but like, you would think that the more people would be, you know, involved in trying to.
I talk about this on stage, dude. It's because of law enforcement. It's because it's crazy. Like, I consider myself on the right. I'm a small government guy. I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican, what have you. I respect law enforcement, right? So when all of a sudden there's an emergency mandate and all of a sudden you're like, this is wrong, we got to start flexing back on this. Boy, they were really quick on the buzzer to send the cops out. They really were.
Are you serious?
Do I look like I'm kidding?
Well, I don't know, because
let's walk outside.
You've got some issues.
I've got issues?
That you're taking away people's human rights.
Okay.
Yeah, people. Ow!
Ma'am, put your hands behind your back. Say, you don't stop resisting. Stop.
Is anybody gonna like get real here?
So then you self-censor. And once you start self-censoring, boy, that's a short trip. That's a
Right.
short trip to straight up like fascism and dictatorship, because they got like, I know I do it. I know there's stuff that I've written that I want to put on my YouTube channel, my extremely popular YouTube channel, the Loftus Party. And it's like, if I put that up, I will be demonetized. I know it's factually correct, but just because of the subject matter. So you're like, okay, I won't talk about that. And boy, that is not a good, that I'm not proud of that.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I do the same thing, and I'm way smaller than the Loftus Party. I'm trying to build up to your level.
Yeah, we'll do it, guy. We'll do it.
Yeah, but it's still, you kind of get nervous about saying certain things because of the algorithm, or definitely writing out certain things, and all that. And then you also worry about backlash amongst your friends, or if you're networking. There's so many, like for you, has your conservative viewpoints and your comedy, has it hurt you in any way?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's you always know it's coming. And I was very fortunate for a lot of years. Like I was writing on this show with Charlie Sheen. It was called Anger Management. It was on FX. And once upon a time they would do these things. They thought it was this new super smart business model. They would make 10 episodes of a TV show, and then they'd put those on the air. If it went well, they're like, we want you to do 90 more, so we could get to 100 episodes super fast, and you could syndicate, because that's where the real money is.
Right.
So I wrote and produced this show with Charlie Sheen, and he's a great dude. Seriously, he's awesome. And like, then FX is like, you're gonna do 90 more. And I'm like, okay, so 90 more episodes. That's about a year and a half, 2 years of work. And then I got offered this job to be the host of this syndicated, like, right-wing version of the Daily Show. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, I needed that safety net.
Right.
But yeah, now it's funny, man. Now the only way to get into the comedy clubs, for me, which is crazy, you need such a huge audience that you can go, okay, I'm going to come to this comedy club for one night, and they'll go, okay. But like, some of the bigger chains across the nation who I worked for years, oh, we don't want political stuff. Nobody wants to hear political. And I'm like, it's not going to all be political, but
Right.
like, and then you see next week they got D.L. Hughley, and I'm like, yeah, oh, you don't want political.
Right.
So
Yeah, they don't want to hear your politics, but
mhm.
but if you're on the other side, oh yeah, bring them all in. It's tough.
Yes. That's the they talk about the brainwashing of America, and brainwashing is kind of a harsh term, but it's the most applicable. When all you see and all you hear is one point of view, how are you not going to adapt that point of view? And then someone else pops up on the horizon and they go, hey, I'm pretty sure all those people are lying to you. Well, then you look like the weirdo. And they are keenly aware of how it works. And by they, I mean the mainstream media, the news channels. That's why they desperately wanted to stop Rush Limbaugh. They desperately want to stop Fox News. They desperately want to stop Tucker Carlson. It's a constant barrage of lawsuits. And man, here's a terrifying little story. So I'm doing the show Anger Management, and I get offered this job it's going to be like this right-wing daily show thing. So it's going to be independently syndicated, so all the jokes have to be very safe. You don't want to upset anybody in the Bible Belt or whatever. So that's cool. That was fun. It was a very fun show. It was a very good show. And as fate would have it, we did 3 seasons. Things were going great, but not great enough to like, oh, I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini. so we put that show away, and I started writing on a network show, whatever. I get a phone call from Kelsey Grammer's production company. And Kelsey Grammer's like, dude, I saw your little syndicated show. You're onto something really good here. I think that could be something wonderful. So we got together, we had a couple meetings, and we go, well, if we did a real version of this, we'd want to do this and that. And we're like, so we're cracking up laughing. And meanwhile, Roseanne Barr had just come back on with the Roseanne reboot,
Right.
and the ratings were huge.
There was a big,
it was like an NFL playoff game every Tuesday night for ABC. So I'm excited. Kelsey's excited. We have a great showrunner. We have great segments. Our agents are practically counting the money. And so we set up these meetings, and I'm telling you, I've been in Hollywood for 20 years. I've pitched television shows and yada, yada. These meetings went insanely well. Like with the head of programming for Amazon, the head of programming for Netflix, the head of programming for these other syndicated, they're howling with laughter. And they're like, oh my God, and you could do this. And oh, and they get it, and blah, 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 blah. And they all, without fail, said, we think this show's hilarious. We love Kelsey. We love Michael. This thing would be a huge success. We can't afford to look friendly to the right.
That's what they said, really? That was like their
Yes.
quote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was eerie. There was 3 emails that used that phrase exactly. We can't afford to look friendly to the right. And that's when I was just like, it was
Jeez.
I was thunderstruck. I was dumbstruck, because the great trick that's being played is like, well, if you're funny, you go to TV, and then you go to movie. If you're funny, but if you're not funny, you'll never go. Right. That's the great. But when you're just not allowed to participate because of your political views, most Americans don't know just how rigged it is. And so that's like the wonderful thing. And I love doing the Greg Gutfeld show, because I've just known it. I've known it in my bones, man. You put somebody funny on television making fun of these idiots, because they are idiots.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so happy that Greg's show is like consistently #1. He's beating the snot out of everybody.
And you would think that the left, or, you know, even all the big shot producers, or, you know, of the left would recognize this. They would see what the people really want, where they're gravitating towards. Like, nobody wants to watch the woke stuff.
Dude, it's not about money. It's not about money. It's about the ideology.
Yeah.
And that's what terrifies me. That's what terrifies. Look at like there's a new movie out right now with The Rock, Black Adam.
Yeah.
Right? So Warner Brothers, at least the film department, they had a woke version of Batgirl, and they were ready to go. That movie was done. And the new head of Warner Brothers looked at it. He looked at it, and he was just like, this is so woke that it has no chance. So he pulled the plug on it at the last second. And now with Black Adam, it's not woke. It's not. It's just a good old fashioned superhero movie, evidently. But if you look at the Rotten Tomato score, the critics hate it, and audiences love it. And so Warner Brothers right now is taking a bunch of grief from the other studios, and the critics is like, oh, is this how it's going to be? They don't care. It's the message. It's the message. Look at the success of the new Top Gun movie, Maverick.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd think if it was about money, that's all they would do. They'd go, okay, I guess this woke stuff is bullshit. Let's do more movies like that. And they don't.
It is scary, because if money's not motivating them, if it's ideology motivating them, then what does that mean in the end goal? Like, you know?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. That's the terrifying realization that you eventually come to. You're like, wow, if it's not about money, it's about the ideology. And then you're like, wow, who's pushing the ideology? And then what happens? And that's when it gets really scary. It's like, I've had many energy drinks and very little sleep, so I'm gonna ramble a little bit. But like when Ron DeSantis, this one really shook me too. Ron DeSantis down in Florida does that parental rights bill. He's like, we just want to make sure parents know what's going on in the classroom, and we don't want you to teach little kids about sex. And boy, they fought back. It's crazy that somebody like pushed back on that, and they had signs ready to go, and they had protests ready to go, and then Disney got on board. And then you're like, holy, what alternative reality am I in? Why is it so important to somebody? Somebody had those signs ready to go. Somebody organized protests. Somebody got on the horn with Disney, and they responded. And you're like, you want to encourage little kids to learn about sex and question their gender? But nope, there is no good reason for that. Not one under the sun.
Nothing like, you think about it, like those minds, they're definitely going for the youth, for the kids. They want to, get to them early as they can. And this is the one way in. And then if they start questioning their sexuality, I mean, imagine being a little kid growing up and all of a sudden being told, like you're 5 years old, you'd be told, you could also be a girl. That kid, it's gonna be so confusing. And then if you commit to it at a young age because you're confused or something, and now they're allowing, surgeries and all kinds of stuff, or that puberty blocker drug and all these things. These are things that, have massive side effects for the rest of your life, mentally, physically, all kinds of stuff. And I just don't get it, because like things that used to be common sense now are, defy it. There is no more common sense. The truth is, like sometimes I sit and I wonder, because you don't know where the brainwashing is coming from sometimes. And I'm like, am I the good guy or the bad guy? Like, I don't even know where I stand anymore. Like, I know what I believe, and I think it's right.
If you've had that thought, I guarantee you're a good guy.
Yes.
If you've had the thought, why would they want to teach little kids about sex? You're a good guy.
Yes.
That's the litmus test. Like, why are they doing this? Yeah, none of this is normal. None of this is normal. None of this happens organically. And if you I used to listen to Dr. Drew, quite a bit. You're a comic and you're on the, you're driving to a gig or whatever. I know I'd work at this comedy club at Hermosa Beach, and then driving back to, my place in LA, late, you listen to Dr. Drew.
Right. Yeah.
And he would always, the thing that one of his constant refrains was like, once a child has that, it's like a switch in their brain with sex. Once you flip that switch, it does something to the wiring, and there's no going back. There's no going back. That's lifelong damage. And every child developmental psychologist would agree with that. So there's a criminal aspect to this as well, because if you have a teacher, and it's not hard, my God, they're kids.
Right. Yeah.
You can, Jesus, there was Hitler Youth. You can convince a kid of anything. And you have a teacher on stage going, who's really brave? I'll tell you who's really brave. Little boys who think they're girls. Those are heroes. Those are heroes. Maybe somebody in here thinks they're a little girl. Raise your hand if.
Right. Exactly. Because it becomes.
I want criminal prosecution. Like, seriously, if you're teaching this stuff, I don't want you near a kid again, ever in your life.
Yeah, I agree, man. 100%. I think it's criminal. It's insane. And I've read portions of some of those books that they're teaching with these kids, and it's almost like step-by-step tutorials of like oral sex, anal sex, what to do, being confused about your gender. Like, it's really like a really easy to read guidebook. And
then there's like these little tricks that these teachers play. There was recently a case, a bunch of parents were upset because in the kids' library, they found this book. It was on the shelf in the elementary school library, and it's this one you're talking about, which is practically a guide.
Right. Yeah.
Here's how to do this. Here's how to do that. And they go, oh, you know what happened? That's from the teacher's personal library. And that's a different section of the library. Somebody must have just misplaced the book. Yeah, I'm sure that was an accident. I'm sure that was just a total accident. That doesn't happen every fucking day.
Jeez, dude,
It
that's
ain't
what's
cool, guy.
and that's what's good about what you're doing with the Loftus part, what you're doing with Gutfeld, what you're doing in your stand up is you're kind of bringing awareness to this thing. And even if it's one person at a time to kind of jiggle up their brain back to reality.
Yeah.
I think it's important. And like you said, with Gutfeld, there's a reason why that show is doing so great out there, because I think so you can get through to people a lot easier through comedy. And that's what, and now, it's like a gold mine for comedy. With every day, all you gotta do is put on the news and there's some kind of gold mine that comes, whether it's the Hunter laptops, Biden's latest speech. Every day, he's going to speak, there's going to be something.
Yes. Yeah.
So in your show, you keep pretty current with the Loftus Party. So are you like constantly just writing, or what's your method to that?
Well, it's wild. Like, I'm doing this thing now, and it's sketch comedy. So it's like a non-communist version of Saturday Night Live. And it's called That Show Tonight. And I would encourage everybody to go to thatshowtonight.com and check it out. It's so much fun. So it's you just keep your antenna up a little bit more. You know how it is as a comic, if you, it's weird. It's like whatever you're writing. I know when I first, my wife and I, we first had kids, and I had a friend of mine, very wise comedy guru, said, be careful. Your kids are going to do a lot of funny stuff. And if there's a chance that then that's all you'll do. You'll just be, oh, my kids did this. Who else has? And it's almost impossible to avoid because it's a real thing and it's happening in your life. So you find you're always like kind of looking and, oh, that could be a bit. Oh, I could talk about, and so you do it. And the same is true with like, the political stuff. I just try to make sure that I have, I'm watching MSNBC and I'm watching Fox and I'm reading a lot of different websites just to see the spin on stuff. And it's hilarious to watch these economists now talking about, a recession's not all bad for poor people. And you're like, what's the upside there, guy? What do we, when you're broke faster, you don't.
The spin is so crazy on the left. Like even today or yesterday with The View, with Whoopi Goldberg telling Ted Cruz that she wasn't aware of any riots happening with Antifa. She's like, oh, I don't have no idea what you're talking about. It's like they just like they think they're Jedis. They're just gonna like that never happened.
And the other thing this occurred to me after like the second time I watched that clip. She's like, we don't riot, we don't storm. And I'm like, I vividly remember watching the TV, watching a mob of people trying to storm the White House.
Yeah.
When Trump they were trying to break into the White House. They had set the church across the street on fire. And then the next day in the media, they're like, Trump hid in the basement. He hid in the basement like a little bitch.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And new details reveal President Trump was briefly taken to the underground bunker below the White House on Friday night. According to an official in the White House, he was there for only about an hour as the White House went on lockdown while protesters rallied nearby. Now, we haven't been told if the First Lady or their teen son, Barron, were also taken to that bunker.
Yeah, and it is, like I said, crazy times. There's random attacks now. You see it all over New York, all over all the big cities. The violence is just going up. I mean, there's a million things that we could talk about that has just gone amok in the last few years, really upside down. And now this election's coming up. And how important is it for everyone to get out and vote, would you say?
Well, it's crazy. It used to drive me crazy when I was a kid. And you had the 3 channels, and like every political season, you'd have some politician on going, this is the most important election of our lifetime. If we don't vote this way, this is the end of a, and here we are. That's seriously, it's, for me, everything changed when they didn't back off of the Ron DeSantis thing down in Florida. Like it's one thing to have an argument over what's the best way to teach math. Is it Common Core or is it old school? I can handle that. We can have that argument. But when you insist on sexualizing little kids, no. We have to take over every school board. We have to take over every, I want a conservative to be dog catcher in every town. We have to vote in such giant numbers. And I'm talking about knock on your neighbor's door, like old school, give them a ride to the polling place. It has to be such a red tsunami that, and even that, we can't take our foot off the gas, dude. Like, we need to go pedal to the metal, take the House and the Senate, and they will, these little rhinos will pop their head up and you'll realize, okay, they're not really America first. They were just talking bullshit. I want to impeach them. I want to primary them and replace them with America first candidates.
Right on.
I mean, it's going to be, it needs to be a revolution of voting and people getting active. For the longest time, and this is why it's the thing, being in the entertainment world, especially doing like That Show Tonight and the Loftus Party, you find so many people on the conservative movement, the Republican side of the ball. And, you talk about, oh, this thing happened at the Oscars, or, oh, this movie is super woke. And they go, I don't watch. That's why I don't watch.
Right.
Okay, well, a bunch of other people are watching, and it's influencing the way you have to get involved. And then you talk about, oh, this is going on in the schools, and they go, nah, that's why I homeschooled. That's why I took my kid. Okay, that's great. That worked for you. But there's still millions of people that have to deal with this crap. So you might have your little Alamo, your little house, and that's great. God bless you. But spend a little bit of your time to help out the next poor motherfucker who can't afford to homeschool. So that's why everybody's got to get involved.
Yeah, true indeed. And I'm with you, man, because this is a very, very important election, because I think that if we don't gain the Senate and the House, and that they're just going to push us even further into this craziness. They'll get back with the mandates and and more control, more government. We're going to be pushed, man. It's going to be crazy. The Great Reset, all that crazy stuff.
Stop caring. It's the internet. It's a bunch of strangers. Why do you give a flying what they say? Grow up, Peter Pan. Little bitch. Get a life.
Tell everybody where they could find you, follow you. Also, I love that you have Michelle Fox on your show from time to time, and Paul Baum.
He's great.
Yeah,
we're doing a show on the 29th at the America First Warehouse, and Michelle will be a part of that show as well.
Bad news, Tammy.
What is it, Tyler?
If the folks are still calling about the home Kegel exercise kit, I just found out we're sold out. That was a wonderful display that you put on for the viewers. The phone lines really lit up.
You know what she reminds me of, like a young Goldie Hawn. She's just got she's got a wonderful look, and there's like just a kindness and a goodness about her that, like, I find it especially funny when she says incredibly mean things. Because she's so nice.
She is so nice.
Let's go. It's that easy. That's no problem.
Tyler, sometimes I just drink the vaccine.
I probably should have done that. Oh, golly.
And I do see that Goldie Hawn in there, like you said.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
You guys, it's like, I like Michelle. I'm a big fan.
Awesome. So tell everybody where they could find you and catch you.
Okay, so It's everything is matchy. It's all the Loftus Party. It's the loftusparty.com, the Loftus Party on YouTube, the Loftus Party podcast, Truth Social, Parler, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the Loftus Party. Boom.
Excellent. Michael Loftus, thank you so much, sir. This was an absolute pleasure and a lot
I
of
had a
fun.
blast, guy.
Yeah, this was great.
Uh-oh.